Good morning. Welcome. This is Stephen C. And this is Steve OC's on TikTok. It is Friday, July 11th, 2025, 11 a.m. Central Time. And this is our daily Course in Miracles review, where we take approximately 45 minutes to an hour to review the daily lesson from the Course in Miracles and a corresponding portion of the text, using the Course in Miracles as a platform, as a context or framework for a discussion of self-inquiry, a discussion of our spirituality, touching upon the subject of metaphysics, esoteric Christianity, Hermetic law, the Hermetic system, and many others, the perennial philosophy, and ancient wisdom. So thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you would like to see some of the previous episodes, some of the previous live broadcasts, you can go to my YouTube channel. The link is in the account bio, or you can go to YouTube and search at Stevo Sees, Stevo Sees. There are over 150 hours of material on the YouTube channel, daily transmissions, daily downloads since January 1st, and today is the 192nd transmission of the year. So thank you for following. Thank you for leaving comments and likes. You can share this live, like this live, and also follow the account here on TikTok. Your presence is welcome, appreciated. So thank you again for being here. And thank you, Fried Snow, back for a second day or third day. Thank you for the gift. Thank you for the likes. I'd like to begin by reviewing the introduction to the Course in Miracles, the introduction to the text. It reads very simply, this is a Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way: nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. That introduction, those 2 paragraphs, those 14 sentences, very important to the study of the Course in Miracles, sets it up beautifully. I like to review it as a grounding exercise to begin each session, as an opening prayer, if you will. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. That is the goal of the Course in Miracles, the goal of the curriculum, the end result of our study. The peace of God, peace that cannot be assailed, peace that cannot be challenged. Perfect calm all the time, perfect joy, perfect happiness, eternally. And we can begin to think about it. We can begin to embody that concept, and we can begin to experience it for longer and longer periods of time, hopefully all day long, then hopefully all day long again and again and again. So that is the mission, that is our function. And lesson 192 today, Friday, July 11th, says, I have a function God would have me fill. You may have heard it said, or you may have heard someone say, I am employed by God. God is my employer. I am an instrument of the Most High. God has a plan for salvation, for the redemption and salvation of the world, and you are a part of it. I am a part of it. You have a function God would have you fill, as do I, as everyone has. Now, each of us may be aware or not aware of this simple truth, this simple fact, that there is a function to fulfill, a higher function. We may be aware of it or not, to varying degrees. That is part of the curriculum. That is part of the great melting pot, the great mixture, the recipe of salvation. Some of us may be well aware of it, well on the way to developing that conscious awareness. Many of us may be fully engaged on the path. Others may be completely unaware of the fact that they are a part of a team. They are a part of a movement. They are a part of an evolution of consciousness on this planet at this time. So let's see what the Course has to say about the fact that I have a function God would have me fill. First sentence begins, it is your Father's holy will that you complete himself, and that yourself, capital S, shall be his sacred Son, forever pure as he, of love created and in love preserved, extending love, creating in its name, forever one with God and with yourself. So the Course gives us a definition there of God's will, gives us an idea to think about, to contemplate. The source, the center of our being, the source, who in this context, using Christian terminology, God the Father, or you could say Brahman, or you could say the Buddha nature, wants you to complete it, complete itself. The Buddha nature, the vibration of Buddha consciousness in the universe, wants you to join it, vibrate in concert with it, cohere to it. Here, we're using the Christian vernacular, the Christian framework. Here in the West, if you're listening to this in the United States or from the Western Hemisphere, or even if you're listening to it in Europe, a European country, or even further east, as the Western paradigm has spread itself across the planet, as Christianity has spread itself across the planet. And for better or for worse, definitely for worse in many cases, but for better or for worse, many people, most people, are familiar with the general idea of Christianity, of a sacrificial God redeeming the world. Now, the Course in Miracles gives it a little bit of a deeper interpretation, more of an esoteric interpretation. So that is what we review, what we explore every day. So your Father's holy will is that you complete him, and that yourself, capital S, now yourself, of course, self with a capital S, is an Eastern concept, an Eastern teaching. So you can see that here, that unification of thought, unification of East and West, unification of consciousness, unification of the left hemisphere of the brain with the right hemisphere of the brain, unification of the conscious mind with the unconscious mind, with what is known, with what has already been conceived, union with what is unknown, unconscious, what has not been conceived or understood. So we're talking about an expansive, open state of mind, open-minded, beginner's mind. Opening to the Holy Spirit in the context of this text, opening to the Holy Spirit, opening to new perceptions, a new paradigm, a new cosmology. That the self shall be God's sacred Son, his holy child, forever pure as he, love created, of love created, in love preserved, extending love, creating in its name, forever one with God and yourself. Yet, the Course says, what can such a function mean within a world of envy, hatred, and attack? Right? So, thanks for the assignment. Thanks for the job. What's the point? Right? Why is there, quote unquote, evil in the world? What can such a function mean within a world of envy, hatred, and attack? Wars, rumors of wars, natural disasters, disease, illness, the big D, the opposite of life, right? So it says you have a function in the world in its own terms, for who can understand a language far beyond his simple grasp, okay? The language of heaven, the language of non-duality, the language of the prime creator. Who can understand a language far beyond his simple grasp? So it says forgiveness represents your function here. Forgiveness, that is the change of mind. That is the giving up for giving up of concepts, of ideas of envy, hatred, and attack. Giving up the idea of attack, which implies separation, which implies duality, which implies opposition. Forgiveness represents your function here. It is not God's creation, for it is the means by which untruth can be undone. Who would pardon heaven? Yet on earth, you need the means to let illusions go. Creation merely waits for your return to be acknowledged, not to be complete. Creation waits for acknowledgement through forgiveness. That's what we're being told here. Creation, actual creation, thinking something and manifesting it, awaits acknowledgement. It's already complete. It's already perfect. The desire, any desire you have for a change in your life is already complete. It already exists. As Bashar says, as Daryl Anka says, you merely have to shift to that timeline, to that embodiment. It's already there. You just have to shift to it. As Neville Goddard says, you just have to assume you're already there. And here the Course says it's already complete. Creation is already complete. The created thing, your desire, your state, your condition, already exists. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to picture it. You wouldn't be able to envision it if it didn't already exist. Okay, so reality is within. Reality is seen with vision. Reality is not seen with the eyes. The body is a communication device. It is a translation device. It is an instrument. It is a mechanism for translating light waves into perception. It's a yeah, it's a translation system. The body is a communication device. A very complex, a very interesting, a very amazing communication device, but a communication device nonetheless. It interprets frequency and vibration into five senses. Creation cannot even be conceived of in the world. Right? Anyone who tries to describe the Tao, okay, limits the Tao, cannot describe. The Tao cannot be described. The Tao is such fullness. It is such a high vibration. It is such a high frequency at such speed that it appears motionless, right? Such fullness that we can refer to it as emptiness. Unconditioned thought, unconditioned consciousness. What we're talking about. Creation cannot even be conceived of in the world. So again, the Eastern meditation practices of letting go of thought, approaching silence in consciousness, approaching emptiness in consciousness, which is the pleroma, which is the plenitude, which is the absolute abundance, is silent, is still, is empty, or is perceived as such. Every concept has to be released in order to approach it, because it's too much, it's overwhelming. So thinking has to be released. Thinking has to be let go. No thinking. Forgiveness Creation cannot even be conceived of in the world. It has no meaning here. Forgiveness is the closest it can come to earth. For being heaven born, it has no form at all. Okay? Formless, empty, silent. So, is creation ex nihilo? Is everything created from nothing? No. No, it's created from everything. It appears as nothing. The Big Bang, apparently, scientifically, allegedly, a compression of gases to such a degree that it exploded and created the universe out of nothing, from nothing. No, it's just that science has not. That's where science cuts the discussion off. No, there was nothing before the Big Bang. Well, it's not logical. Something cannot come from nothing except through philosophical sophistry. Which is why you get the wisdom teaching, which is why Aboriginal teachings, American Indians, any Aboriginal culture will always say their culture has always been. Christians, or Christian faith, before Abraham was, I am, consciousness has always been. That's the mystery. Something has always been. Existence has always been and will always be. There is no opposite to existence. There is no opposite to life. There is only the change of energy from one form to another. There is no loss of energy. There is no addition of energy, simply a transformation from one form to another. That transformation, that alchemical transformation we are interested in, happens in consciousness and can be called a transcendence, which includes previous state of consciousness, but transcends it, expands out of it. Creation cannot even be conceived of in the world. It has no meaning here. Forgiveness is the closest it can come to earth. For being heaven born, it has no form at all. Earth is the plane of form, of manifestation. Yet God created one who has the power to translate in form the holy, formless. Okay, formless does not mean non-existent in this case. It just means without form. Again, emptiness, silence, stillness. The one who has the power to translate in form the holy, formless. Let's call that the Divine Mother, produces form. God created the one who has the power to translate in form the holy, formless. What she makes are dreams, but of a kind so close to waking that the light of day already shines in them, and eyes already opening behold the joyful sights their offerings contain. This text, this Course in Miracles, states that the dream, what changes is the dream. The dream is the only thing that can change. That's why it's an illusion. That's why it's a simulation. Okay, That's why it's headed for a singularity. The singularity is finally the final step taken by God, which is unification, complete self-awareness, unification with God. It says forgiveness gently looks upon all things unknown in heaven. Okay, the earth. What we see is unknown in heaven. Okay, this is a metaphor. This is a symbol. This is a way, one way of explaining the unexplainable. So what it says is forgiveness gently looks upon all things unknown in heaven. There is no war in heaven. There are no disputes. There is no opposition, no illness, no darkness. Okay. Forgiveness looks on all things, sees them disappear, leaves the world a clean and unmarked slate on which the Word of God can now replace the senseless symbols written there before. So all the gibberish, all the confusion of tongues, all the confusion of ideas, all the arguments, all the criticisms, all the judgments wiped away, clean slate. Then the Word of God is written, a unified word, a word that makes sense, the word of perfection. Forgiveness is the means by which the fear of the big D is overcome, because it holds no fierce attraction now and guilt is gone. Forgiveness lets the body be perceived as what it is, a simple teaching aid, also called a communication device. Because what do you do with communication? You teach and you learn. Teaching is a function of communication. So the body, perceived as a simple teaching aid, a tool to be laid by when learning is complete, but hardly changing him who learns at all. The body does not change us. Consciousness, transformation of consciousness is the change. Any subsequent changes, changes in the body, changes in circumstances, changes in conditions are effects. They follow from change in consciousness. Now, going a little bit deeper, the mind without the body cannot make mistakes. It cannot think that it will die, nor be the prey of merciless attack. Body is the symbol of attack, so it is the thing that is attacked, seemingly. Without the body, anger becomes impossible, and where is terror then? What fears could still assail those who have lost the source of all attack, the core anguish and the seat of fear? Only forgiveness can relieve the mind of thinking that the body is its home. Only forgiveness can restore the peace that God intended for his Holy Son. Only forgiveness can persuade the Son to look again upon his holiness. Okay, so driving home the fundamental core teaching of the Course in Miracles of forgiveness. And I would suggest, if you are not familiar, go to the Course in Miracles, go to acim.org online. Go to the search function, search forgiveness, and read what this text has to say about forgiveness. which basically rests on the premise that illusions need not be forgiven. They're not there. There's nothing there. Nothing needs to be forgiven. Okay, so this is called the attraction to the big D, the attraction to guilt, the appeal of defense and attack. Okay, all these things are the result of a confused mind, of a mind divided against itself and projecting that division of itself onto the world. So it's an energetic projection, a psychic energetic projection that produces movement, time and space outside of itself, so you can see it and understand what needs to be corrected. The outside world is a dream. It is symbolic itself and can help you recognize psychically what needs to be repaired, rejuvenated, restored, transformed inwardly, psychically. Okay, so then you start getting into psychology, archetypes, the relationship of the ego to the unconscious. Okay, Freud, Jung, Adler, Robert Moore, Robert Bly, etc., 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 etc. Marianne, who's Robert's Bly partner that he works with? Marianne, someone. Chalice and the Blade. With anger gone, you will indeed perceive that for Christ's vision and the gift of sight, no sacrifice was asked, and only pain was lifted from a sick and tortured mind. Is this unwelcome? Is this to be feared, or is it to be hoped for, met with thanks and joyously accepted? We are one, and therefore give up nothing. You don't have to give anything up to be and have everything. You already are everything. There is nothing to give up. Who would you give it to? Where would it go? Okay, it's all one. You've got it. You are it. There's nothing to sacrifice. There's nothing to give up. All that exists as you. All that is you. God is I am. We have indeed been given everything by God. Okay? So you just have to develop that idea, that belief, that mindset. You just have to embody it. Okay? And if it's everything, okay, you have to undo a great deal of conditioned thought and conditioned thinking that is conditioned to limitation, conditioned to loss, conditioned to sacrifice. Right? If you want to be something, you have to sacrifice. The other state of mind, the truth of the matter is nothing need be sacrificed, simply accepted, allowed into consciousness. Okay, but an interest has to be developed. An interest has to be developed. An intention has to be set. And as we've discussed over the past week, then once the intention is set for the truth, okay, there's no more flip-flopping. The truth is always true. So there's no going back. You have to go through to get to the truth. You have to deal, you have to process everything. And as far as this lifetime is concerned, you have to process the portion of everything that you're supposed to deal with this time. So one step at a time, one bite at a time, to eat the whole elephant, one bite at a time. You just don't try to swallow the whole elephant all at once. Step by step. So I'm going to finish with the lesson here, and then we'll go on to the text. So I skipped a few paragraphs. Please go read this yourself. Check it out. Good stuff. Be merciful today. Son of God deserves your mercy. It is he who asks that you accept the way to freedom now. Deny him not. His Father's love for him belongs to you. Your function here on earth is only to forgive him, that you may accept him back as your identity. He is as God created him, your neighbor, your boss, your quote-unquote political opponent. She is as God created her, and you are what she is. Forgive her now her sins, and you will see that you are one with her. Thank you again for the likes. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the gifts. Thank you for hanging out. So that was lesson 192. I have a function God would have me fill, and that last paragraph. I and the Father are one. I am in you. You are in me. We are in the Father. Spoken by Jesus, but not just for Jesus. It's for you, for me, for us. So that last paragraph, forgive your brother, overlook his sins. Know that he is loved by the source of creation. And he or she is here just as legitimately as you are, no matter what they think, no matter what they do, no matter how they act, no matter what they say. Okay? So there is a function God would have fill. I have a function God would have me fill. It's called forgiveness. Now to a corresponding portion of the text, chapter 22, section 4, branching of the road. So we're walking the road in consciousness back to source, back to prime creator, back to a non-dual consciousness. We undertake a journey, the Course says. We have undertaken a journey that has already been completed. So it's kind of a review, a life review, a life review of ourselves and the entire grouping of humanity, of all of humanity. We're just watching how it goes, learning. Okay? Watch it like a movie. And know that God never fails. The Son of God is redeemed. The Son of God is resurrected. Know it, accept it, wait for it, watch for it, because it happens in you. Okay? Do not look outside of yourself, lo here, lo there. For the kingdom of heaven is within you. Look within yourself. It's already there. Go find it. Seek and you will find. Then you can watch the whole thing unfold and you can relax because you already know the end of the story. Spoiler alert, okay? There was not a body when they went to the tomb. Okay? Spoiler alert. Let those with ears hear. So, the branching of the road. When you come to the place where the branch in the road is quite apparent, you cannot go ahead. You must go either one way or the other. For now, if you go straight ahead, the way you went before you reach the branch, you will go nowhere. Okay? You'll just go into the ditch. Because it's the end of the road and you have to go left or you have to go right. The whole purpose of coming this far was to decide which branch you will take now. The way you came no longer matters. Forget the past. The past does not exist. You are here now. So the past has brought you here. Now decide. The way you came no longer matters. It can no longer serve. So forget about it. Let it go. Forgive it. No condemnation, no judgment. It worked. It got you here. Now we can choose. No one who reaches this far can make the wrong decision. There you go. You cannot make the wrong decision at this point. If you're sitting here listening to this, if you're hearing this, you cannot make the wrong decision at this point. But you can delay. No one who reaches this far can make the wrong decision, although he can delay. And there is no part of the journey that seems more hopeless and futile than standing where the road branches and not deciding on which way to go. Okay, Hamlet? Got to decide, Hamlet. Make a decision. Now's the time to make a decision, right? It is but the first few steps along the right way that seem hard, for you have chosen. Although you still may think you can go back and make the other choice, this is not so. A choice made with the power of heaven to uphold it cannot be undone. You are locked in. Your way is decided. There will be nothing you will not be told if you acknowledge this. All things shall be revealed. Everything will be straightened out. Everything will work together for your good, no exceptions. So start to think that way. Start to accept that idea that everything is working together for my good, your good, our good, everyone's good. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter what's going on in Washington, D.C. Establish it within yourself and see what happens. Maybe you will end up in Washington, D.C. Maybe you will make a difference. Maybe you will be the president. And so you and your brother stand here in this holy place before the veil of sin that hangs between you and the face of Christ. Let it be lifted. Raise it together with your brother, for it is but a veil that stands between you. Either you or your brother alone will see it as a solid block, nor realize how thin the drapery that separates you now. Yet it is almost over in your awareness, and peace has reached you even here before the veil. Think what will happen after. The love of Christ will light your face and shine from it into a darkened world that needs the light. And from this holy place, Christ will return with you, not leaving it nor you. You will become his messenger, returning him unto himself. So you become the messenger, you become the guide, because you have allowed yourself to be guided, to be returned. You are within that circle of awareness, that circle of light. You are within it. Now you just take it with you wherever you go, and you will allow the light to do its work. You allow the Holy Spirit to do her work. You are the avatar. You are the symbol. You are the exemplar. Think of the loveliness that you will see who walk with him, and think how beautiful will you and your brother look to the other. How happy you will be together after such a long and lonely journey where you walked alone. The gates of heaven open now for you. Will you now open to the sorrowful? And none who look upon the Christ in you but will rejoice. How beautiful the sight you saw beyond the veil, which you bring to light the tired eyes of those as weary now as once you were. How thankful will they be to see you come among them, offering Christ's forgiveness to dispel their faith in sin. Okay, going back to forgiveness, which was part of the lesson for the day. There's a function God would have me fill. It is the function of forgiveness. It is the function of meditation. It is the function of a spiritual practice in which I ascend, and then in which, okay, right? The separation of the earth into two earths, the separation, more separation. It may be that you may just ascend, and then no one's going to bother you. Nothing's going to touch you. Nothing can hurt you. Where are you going to go? It's all just your consciousness. Perhaps, knowing that it's your consciousness, you may also know that if you leave anyone behind, you may feel guilty. If you start to feel guilty, that will drag you back down. So pretty much everyone's got to get on the bus, okay? You're not going without everybody who should be there. Every mistake you and your brother make, so it continues on here along the same line. Every mistake you and your brother make, it's the same mistake, the other will gently have corrected. So any mistake that anyone else corrects themselves, you get credit. Any mistake you correct in yourself, they get credit. As do you. Everybody gets a little bit of the credit. It's distributed by the Holy Spirit, one atom at a time, one photon at a time. To all who share the love of God, the grace is given to be the givers of what they have received. And so they learn that it is theirs forever. All barriers disappear before their coming, as every obstacle was finally surmounted that seemed to rise and block their way before. This veil, you and your brother live together, opens the way to truth, to more than just you. Those who would let illusions be lifted from their minds are this world's saviors, walking the world with their Redeemer, carrying his message of hope and freedom and release from suffering to everyone who needs a miracle to save him. Okay, so quite a message there today in the text. Branching of the road. When you come this far, you have to make a choice. You cannot make the wrong choice. You will make the correct choice. Choice is to forgive everyone and everything. The choice is to forgive yourself. Choice is to realize you have already succeeded. You are already redeemed, sinless, innocent, and pure, because you see everyone and everything in that light. Therefore, you know you have it, and it can only increase. It can only root itself in you deeper and deeper and deeper. It can only become more real. There is no vacillation. There is no changing of states. The state of non-duality becomes constant. The joy, the happiness, the peace, the sense, the feeling of fulfillment becomes constant. It cannot be interrupted. It cannot be stolen or taken. It can only be given, freely given, which reinforces it, of course, tells us. So that will be all for today. Woo! Awesome. Excellent. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the likes and the gifts and your presence. I do appreciate it. I'm here every day at 11 a.m. Central Time. You can also go to the YouTube channel and check out the other episodes. Go over there. Give me a follow. There's not many people over there. Need some more followers on YouTube. Go over there, follow, hit the like button on a couple of downloads over there. A couple of the transmissions, the broadcasts, go over there, make your presence known. I do appreciate it. Thanks again. Peace and blessings to you. Love you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.